another episode of Accountability Conversation, which is brought to you by Youth Innovation Trust and Umahlekisa Comedy Club. So today I'm being joined by two gorgeous ladies. Can you introduce yourselves, Bagiti?
Okay, ngizoqala mina. Ibizo lami Manesi Ndlovu, isidemo sakwaMdlevu, popularly known as uMaMdlevu. Is that what you want? Or you want more?
More.
Okay, I work with Skies Metro FM and I do the breakfast show from 6 to 10 a.m. I'm a people's person. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Zelani Masu. I'm a mental health advocate for better mental health services in Zimbabwe, and I am also the director of AFRID, standing for the African Institute for Ending Bullying, Depression and Suicide.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction. Actually, can you just brief us understanding on mental health?
Okay, so mental health is about the illness of the mind. Mental health means it's the same as saying physical health. We're talking about ingqondo, right?
Okay.
So we're talking about illnesses that affect the mind. The mind is a control system that controls our whole body, our emotions, our thinking, our behavior. So when something is not okay in our mind, if maybe it's a hormonal imbalance, genetics, or whatever it is, that ends up not being well in your mind, it triggers an illness. Just like in our bodies, if you're not well, some part of your body is not well, it triggers an illness, right? So there are different types of illnesses. There are bipolar, depression, clinical depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia. There's so many types of illnesses, even eating disorders. There's so many of them that affect how a person relates to other people or how they feel. What is deemed normal in a society to them ends up being abnormal because of how ingqondo be now, being affected because of the illness.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you understand about the mental health?
Basically, I think it's all that she said. But we need to really understand ukuthi ngabantu abanjani, lokuthi balekha ngaphi, lokuthi sibaphathe njani as a society. Because at the end of the day, mina ungangibuza nje just ngizihambele emgwaqeni ukuthi what is mental health ngathi umuntu lana engathi ayisekho zonke. The picture that I have is just someone walking in the streets othwele izikhwama oswele ukuthi ayengaphi. Kanti it's not only those.
Okay.
Bakhona abanye esihlala labo ezindlini that suffer mental health in different ways as khulumileyo. Sometimes omunye uyi-bipolar, sometimes omunye ucabanga ngendlela yakhe yedwa that you don't really understand. And kanti umuntu lo ucabanga njani? Kanti azikwananga yini? We'll be making those jokes ukuthi kanti azikwananga yini? Kanti is there something wrong with you? Kanti vele yes, there's something wrong with that person. Edinga ukuthi si understand ukuthi and we treat those people in indlela eyo. So it's just basically what you said, and I think in general we need to really understand ukuthi is affected to what level and how we can help them. Bakhona abanye labasesithi lo ngathi sezahlala. Bakhona labane sasikwazi ukuthi dala sakhule ekhaya wathi hayi inyanga nxa sisiya twasa laphana ikhona lapha eziqala khona at the end of the month ikhona lapha eziqala khona. Maybe labana I'm not really a mental health expert, but maybe labana yibo abafuna isizo, the ones that go to engutsheni bayahlatshwa ama-injection but still go back home. Bebe lesikhathi sokuthi maybe amaphilisi lana ase-expire, they need ukuthi bayahlatshwa futhi and still go back home. Labana maybe there is hope and babe khona labana ukuthi hayi labana sikwazi ukuthi bephila kuma-streets. So we really need to understand the different stages that they are in or the different conditions that they are in and see how we can help them as a society.
So kusibale labana thina sesakubona ngoba kuthiwa sizahlanya. So can you just brief us ngama stages abantu bankhona mental health?
It's an interesting thing that you've just shared, on the types of people we think this is the only sign we see as someone is mentally ill. But as much as I'm like this and you're like this and you're normal and you're going to work and everything, you can have a mental illness. You can live with it, have a family, build a family, and your neighbors don't know what this person has a mental illness because they're not all severe. Some that are severe are a lot of times untreated mental health cases. So when you find abantu base street, those are untreated cases. those are those who have there's a failure in their support and treatment. And of course, yes, there are those who there are certain times where it hits them severely and they have to be institutionalized. And so, yeah, with mental health, it's just like a sickness where you can get admitted but still go back home. You have people who have cancer but still go back home, after remission, go back after a treatment that they have gotten. So it's the same thing, And the good thing is every mental illness is treatable. Even those on the streets, if they got treatment, they can live life, they can build homes, they can go to work. So it's not, mental illness is not abantu abasestreetini, no. It's so unfair, and unfortunately, because of lack of knowledge and lack of us really talking deeply about these things, we don't understand it fully in picture. So mental illness, you could have it right now. You can have an anxiety problem, a depression. They're not all severe cases, but yeah. So now my mental health, I talk a lot.
It's okay. So can we look at mental health in Zimbabwe? What does it look like? And what's going on actually?
Do you want to take it, then I'll take it?
Maybe from my own layman understanding, and then you come with your expertise.
Yeah.
Well, I think we don't really understand it. To us, in mental illness, we are just talking about that's all. The rest, these other conditions, as valid. To the untreated ones, the minor ones, is treat it that much. So to us, when we talk of mental illness, mental health,
what is it exactly that causes abasendlini bengakutreat it that much, bengakuthathi serious? Is it just because abantu besaba open up, or?
I think it's a lack of understanding. We don't know what mental health or illness is. We only ascribe it to abantu abasestreetini. Abasendlini ngale we don't know. Siyathi hayi lo la uyazenza. Hayi sokumvukele. Hayi vele siyakwazi ukumvukela ngemonthly. Hayi vele lo siyakwazi vele lo emotional problems. Hayi vele lo siyakwazi unjunjunj, but singakwazi ukuthi it has gone to a higher stage or stage sokufuna khona attention. So I think we don't really understand mental health. We don't really understand. We need a deeper understanding. Lokuthi si explain lokuthi how we deal with those people, how we identify them. Sazi ukuthi lo category le, lo stage le, lo sim addresses. So and even the umuntu wakhona who suffers from that, bengakwazi.
Okay.
Sometimes I very low too emotional. I low vela mazondo yachayelela izinto phansi. Mazondo yachayelela amaglasi wonke phansi. I very low unje, there are those that are too sensitive. The other ones are too judgmental. Those kind of people. So I think we really need an understanding of what it is, the stages that people go through, and how we address it.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, mental health in Zimbabwe currently, I would say, like she has ascribed to Wuti, there's not enough information that's circulating, healthy information that's circulating. Do you know, every one of us has a mental illness. You have a mental illness, he's got a mental illness. But it's like a cold or a flu. You could have problems with anxiety or failure to address stresses in your life. Or maybe, maybe you've gone through depression and you've never noticed, I've had depression, because you don't know. Like you said, a lot of people don't know, and they don't know the signs and the symptoms. And with what's happening right now in our country, a lot of people have a mental illness. And saying mental illness, I'm not saying it's chronic, like long term, or it's ongoing, or it's forever. It can be acute, meaning short. Just like a cold, just like a stomach ache, just like a headache you might have, a mental illness can come like that. It's something that I feel at some point we need to normalize it, to say, and unfortunately in Zimbabwe, we don't have as many institutions that take in mental illness cases. We don't have enough institutions for even abantwana or adolescents on their own, or old people on their own. We have institutions like Immature where it takes in every group, and we have UPH, Lempilo. They don't they only take them for a few days and then refer them back to Mbujeni. So because we don't have institutions that are extremely on the side of really supporting and educating or making it comfortable for people to just walk into an institution and say, you know, I want to have therapy, you know, I want to go through talk therapy, you know, maybe even get cognitive behavioral therapy and understand how can I deal with my temper? How can I deal with the way I handle things? Some people suffer from perfectionism, you know, like you want to be perfect at every single thing. And you've noticed that my behavior affects the next person. Some people find it uncomfortable because I'm so perfect. And you just say, you know, I'm just going to go and talk to a mental health professional and find out, you know, how can I unlearn some of my behaviors. People have OCD, you know, sometimes it's a genetic thing or it gets triggered somehow. And OCD is that thing where you know you continuously always do something on the extreme. You know, maybe you like to walk with your right foot first before your left foot, or you like to wash your hands more. It's nothing. You know, we need to really normalize depression, mental health, everything that's under mental illnesses, and just accept that someone can be like that. So that in Zimbabwe we are really backward. And the sad part is, our government has not put enough money into mental health, you know, and that needs to be addressed. It's something that we need to continue to advocate for, to say, can we have better mental health care services in our country that caters for all ages and affords safe spaces for everyone.
Who is supposed to be accountable for this?
Well, in a normal setting, I believe government should be, you know, on the forefront, because they have institutions that offer services that allow people to know things better. You know, ZPC, you know, our radio stations, a lot of them are government owned. So I'm happy now to see that, you know, a lot of radio stations are now openly talking about mental health. But we just need more of that. We need government putting up posters, you know, and of course, you know, as NGOs, we are there to fill up a gap that is missing, or a gap that the government is failing to meet. So for organizations such as AFREX and other organizations that deal with mental health, we need to do more. We need to continue to educate. We need to continue to offer services. We need to continue, you know, making the lives of those with mental illnesses better. Because you know what? We have a lot of cases where people who come from Mbujeni, when they come out, they get the treatment, they're fine and everything. They go back because of this stigma. They get triggered and then they have to go back again. So we need to learn to treat each other and remove stigma within our societies.
Okay. So, Mamle, what do you think that has to be done ukuthi abantu laba bebencediswe as an individual?
Oh well, I think since she said it's a role for the government to help us and certain organizations to help us, but since it's not doing so, I think it's upon each and every one of us to then spread the news. It's upon each and every one of us to then raise the awareness about mental health and really try and educate each other on the issues of mental health and how we deal with such people. And it is of importance as well to talk about issues of depression and umuntu accept that you are going through a difficult time. That's one day on his side. Because I think that's the most case that's going around, especially affecting women, especially affecting the youth. Amanye ama-youth ligcina selinatha utshwala, gcina selisenza kwama-drugs, gcina selisenza ukuthi hayi lo vele ubulawa yivereza, hayi lo vele ubulawa yinjengo. Kathi no, you know, he went through some stage empilweni yakhe that people couldn't understand, and he resorted to using what? Ama-drugs. Ingeso ngathi usehlanya, nxa engasakunathanga khona lokhuyana, that person akasekho right. So we really have to maybe raise an awareness and show it to people. It's okay for you to go through a difficult time. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to go through that difficult stage, but uzadlula. You know? But if I hide my feelings, if I hide ubuhlungu bami, then the next thing ngizoyenzani, I bottle it all inside ekhanda lami, ngizicabangele ngokwami. At the end of the day, one day ngaba explode sengithenza and all that kind of stuff. So we really need, as a society, we really need to raise that awareness and tell people it's okay to go down there and be nothing. You will still rise. It's okay. We go through those difficult situations, but who's right? And don't let people go through depression alone, and don't let people go through those difficult situations alone. And wipe away the issues of stigma. Because at the end of the day, umuntu akasakhulumi ngama issues akhe because fear of being stigmatized, fear of being labeled unje. We all fail in life, but asikho cry.
Yeah.
We need each other. We need the society to come together. There is a story that I read of Ubudo Asemakai. Wahambe Goli, things didn't work out, wasephenduka ahlala labazali. And when Natujwala and all is a shupa bazali. And the father was like, when I want days like the numbule. And that's what happened. Uputulana somehow wagcine segamuluka bakwambulana. Because of the issues ayehlule ukuzikhuluma. Because of ukwehluleka ukudila nama situations. And thina masikukhangele sayisiphonga ukuthi hayi into ezincane. Hey, what day umuntu lo zagcine bulela umuntu? Hey, what day lo zagcine feleje? And that's what will happen. And we'll be busy passing those comments, but we are not helping those people. So I think as a society, we need to come together, raise awareness in the different communities that we are, even in your family. We have those people in our families that suffer. We have those people in our families that are affected one way or the other. And start at home and go to work institutions and go wherever and raise the awareness and play this role, Tina Mowet. Then obviously the government will step in, obviously different organizations will step in. But let's start with us, even the youths, anyway, to Lapis Corner socializing. Let's start with us and raise awareness on the mental health.
What's your say?
I agree with everything that she has said, but I just wanted to share a bit of awareness on something that is really crucial, and I've noticed that it's affecting a lot of people. You talked about how we are coping, a lot of youths, not even just youths, even adults, are coping through drinking or even having, some drugs or even doing unhealthy behaviors as a way to cope. So there's this thing called hang anxiety. It's when you drink to try and deal with your anxiety. It makes you sleep, yes. It makes you feel like you're okay. But the truth is, if you have ever noticed this within yourself, and then after the next days or next weeks, you feel worse than the first time you drank. That's called hang anxiety. So I just wanted to just share that that awareness to say, if you're suffering from anxiety, don't drink. Really, drinking and smoking, that makes it worse for you. It does not help you. It's a really unhealthy coping mechanism. So I just wanted to share that with people.
Okay. So just because of our time, we are wrapping up. Non-level what?
Let's just come together as one and let's help each other. Singahlekani and singalaphelani. Don't stigmatize Omuni, but let's just come together as one and help each other. And don't make it a laughing thing. But everyone is a one day. What I'm considering is let's stop doing that. But let's help each other those difficult times. Let's help each other and let's try and raise awareness on mental health. And let's not say mental health is all about we can still live with the people as in that are suffering different sectors of mental health, as she noted. There are different areas. So we need to get that kind of education and be educated on the different aspects of mental health and how we can deal with it and how we can help our family members, our church members, the community and everybody else. But take it to know these cases of mental health and raise awareness and help each other as a society.
Okay. Your last word.
Well, I would say, she covered everything, but I would say, don't ever belittle anyone's experience or pain, even if you think it's nonsense. Local feel like, or this thing that's causing you pain is just too little, it doesn't make sense. It is not okay to make the next person feel like a fool or stupid for the feeling and experience that they have experienced or how they're feeling, because we all have different levels of managing stress. We are all like strings. I always say we're all like a rubber band, and we break at different points. You can break at this point or this point, or you can stretch as much as you can, and then break it, to this point. So we are all different, and because we're all different, how we feel can never be the same as the next person. So respect someone's feeling, respect their struggle, and learn to support. If you don't understand, ask. Don't assume, just ask. Thank you.
That's fine, I'm tenders. Thank you so much for watching this video. Catch us next time, same place on our YouTube account. Shalom.